Welcome to the Three Path Profits podcast, where we'll talk about business, finance, social media, and everything in between on our paths to profit. Three different people, three different side hustles, one common goal profit. My name is Kyle,
My name is Lexi.
My name is Amanda.
and we're your hosts. To set the proper expectations for today's episode, our format will be as follows. First, we'll hear from Lexi, who will talk about everything related to her Etsy shop. Then we'll hear from myself with some updates in the finance world. Last up, we'll hear from Amanda, who will go over the latest in the social media space. Let's dive in.
Okay, so to start out with some stats for the Etsy shop, the last 7 days I had 21 views, 11 visits, and 0 orders. The last 30 days I had 82 views, 49 visits, and 4 orders. So overall, I'm still very happy with those stats. Yes, I didn't get an order in the last 7 days, but still overall, I'm still liking how many visits and views I'm still getting. I did update the picture on my custom logo shirt of the picture that says like your logo here. I also changed the variation to include the color instead of the design since they would send that to me anyways, like we talked about last week. I edited and posted another reel on TikTok and Instagram of me making the spoon rest with the resin.
We love the content.
You know. So that was only done yesterday, but just since like my stats of yesterday, I have 1,600 views, 97 likes, and 2 saves. And if like keeping that in mind, the other video that I made of me like making stuff had roughly similar views. It was like in the 1,600s, but it only had 9 likes.
Yeah.
So it was an astronomical difference. I got 10 new followers from this post. It was all from like the For You page when I was looking at the stats and the insights. So it was definitely promising. It was very fun to watch the likes come in and the views go up. So I definitely can't complain with that. And I'm excited to make more. I know we talked about also Amanda she's thinking about her holiday menu. So we were talking about holiday items I could do. I was thinking like a custom wallet with like initials, last name, or like an engraved necklace. I know, Amanda, I got you an engraved necklace from Etsy like years ago. And I know
Was
you,
this just
yeah,
a Etsy version? Yeah.
and I know you loved that thing. So I was just thinking like that could be a good idea.
I know you got some built-in customers here because I'm just thinking, as you just mentioned, the wallet and the necklace for holidays. Like this is, I'll be a customer. Let's put it that way.
No,
Yeah.
I think for holidays this year, we just need to buy everyone Three Path Profits t-shirts.
That too.
Yeah.
That too. That's a double whammy. That's a double whammy.
Yeah, we'll just get
Merry
everyone.
Christmas. You all get a Three Path Profits t-shirt
You have to support us and show
that you have to wear once a week.
Yeah.
honestly,
We
that
get
is like I really think we should definitely at least start, even if it's like a decal or like a sticker for people to get, or
seriously. I like. Let's
I
just give them out.
I would like
Lex,
decals for my car. I would like a Three Path Profits one and a Cook and Depot one eventually at
Yeah.
some point.
I'm game. So to kind of go back to, I lost my train of thought, but I did change/update the sections on my Etsy shop to be wedding, holiday/gift, birthday, and household. I thought those were kind of good sections that I could fit a
Yeah.
lot of things in different ones, kind of mix and match, whatever. So now I have all of my listings in at least one of the sections, which is really nice. I can also put like favorites up. So the custom logo shirt and the bookmark are both the first 2 items that you'll see on my dashboard on my shop whenever you come to it. I just like those 2. I think with the custom logo shirt, you can anyone wants to get a new shirt with something on it, whether that be a football team or a favorite band that they like or whatever. So I kind of wanted to just keep those on the top. I also did re-up the sale that I was having on my page. I know listening back to previous episodes, we were talking about how long they could run, and it's just you have to just essentially re-add it to your page again after 30 days is up. which I wish you could kind of set it to just be indefinite, but unfortunately you do have to.
Wouldn't legally be able to say it's a sale then.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Because if you just listed it at that price with the sale thing,
Sure,
it's
but that's what like Kohl's does. You
I
never
know.
see anything that's regular price at Kohl's.
Yeah, but that's because they're restocking the shelves, so they're saying
yeah.
it's a new piece on sale.
So I did re up it again. And I also changed every listing to free shipping so that they're all the same, changed prices accordingly to that. I honestly didn't even really think about this whenever I was making the free shipping to do that for all of them. But I was playing around on my shop the other day and I realized that some of them were still set to different shipping costs and things that I had set whenever I first started and opened everything. So I did actually put everything to free shipping as well. Um, and just kind of playing around with the idea of posting another item slash listing to my shop, potentially the sticker decal idea, or just kind of continuously doing. I have been continuously doing more research on other items I can make to add. Again, just kind of smaller items or things that. Why are you laughing, Amanda?
I just remembered last week.
What?
What's the difference between a sticker and a decal?
Oh,
Oh, fuck off. Fuck off.
I saw you giggling and I was like, oh no, what did I say?
It's the same fucking thing.
It is.
But back to, I just have been doing a bunch of research. I'm not sure like what I want to post yet. I mean, I guess I could do the sticker slash decal and another thing. Like, I don't really have like a limit on.
Swedish Smash.
Wait, so did you not post the decal yet on your store?
No.
Okay.
The sticker.
The bougie sticker.
Yes.
The decal.
I haven't posted it yet. I think honestly at this point I'm probably going to. I just need to take better pictures. Like whenever I was taking the pictures, I was sending it to a family member. So I was like, I don't really give a shit what it looks like. I'm not trying to make it look aesthetically pleasing. Here's what it fucking turned out.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah.
So I wasn't trying to make it look pleasing. So I'm also going to promote another item to my personal Instagram to get more traction that way as well. I was thinking about doing either the onesie that I made for a gift from me or the onesie that I made it for a gift from someone else. So either way, I'm thinking a onesie, but I just don't know which one I'm going to post yet because I kind of want to wait until that individual gets them so that they're not seeing it before. So,
well, you could post,
this is lagged
post the
effect.
onesie with the same ideas you did with the logo. Just put like something fake on it until.
Yeah.
And you got to think there's a lag effect. Like, are they going to see this before they see that?
Well, they'd see it on my Instagram. I'd be posting it now. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
that's only for this, not necessarily my Instagram. I mean, technically, it's already one of them is already on my Anything Cricket Co. Instagram. I just don't necessarily think they're following that. So that I wasn't really worried about. I'm just my personal Instagram. Obviously, they follow me. They're family members, so I just don't know if I want to.
Yeah,
I'm gonna hold off on that for now. Is essentially what I'm saying. But I'm going to post that, especially with how many people I know in my life that are having babies. Like, I swear there are so many pregnancy announcements all over Instagram right now. So I think that would be definitely a prime market
for sure
for the audience on even on my personal Instagram. So all in all, I'm definitely thinking about that. I'm also waiting to give the item I made for one of my friends, the spoon rest. I just haven't seen her yet. And again, like I talked about previously, there's no point on shipping it to her when I'm eventually going to see her in like a month or two. So I'm still waiting on that for her to promote that. And the other items that I had made for family members, like the stickers, the baby shower welcome sign, and then also the onesie that I made for them as well, just to promote that on theirs. So my goals just moving forward are to continue to promote, work on more of the Adobe Photoshop stuff, and continue to take videos of myself making items and post them on TikTok and Instagram. Oh, and I also keep forgetting to shout out myself because I don't have it on here, so I just keep forgetting about doing it. But on TikTok and Instagram, it's at Anything Cricket Co.
Go give her a follow. I just have one question. When you make up prices, did you calculate and determine an hourly rate for yourself? Like, do you have a number that you use for your time
I would say around between 20 and 25.
per hour?
Yeah. But at the same time, a lot of my smaller items don't take me a full hour, but I still might be pricing them on the higher side
Right.
with cost of vinyl or cost of whatever product that may be, and also knowing that I do have the sale.
Yeah.
But I would say definitely minimum 20 to 25 an hour is what I've been going off of.
All I got besides that, I love the momentum I'm feeling from you. It's good. I feel like we're feeding off each other too. It's really good.
Yeah,
I was,
for sure.
I was gonna say the same. It feels things are heating up, and that's good.
Yeah.
That leads into one of my questions slash comments. I guess it's a question. What do you think the social media impact is going to be for you moving forward? It seems like you're starting to get a little excitement there, starting to get a little buzz. The content did look good, and I think that's a good way to bring awareness to your posts and your Etsy shop. So, what are your thoughts there about social media being a strategy moving forward for Anything Cricket Co?
I mean, I think social media is the strategy. I think that is the biggest way to get people to my shop because I'm like Amanda said in a previous episode that I'm more likely to blow up on either TikTok or Instagram or social media over than someone just going on my Etsy shop and then some one item blowing up just randomly off of that. I think especially with the amount of stats that I had in just that one post with that many new followers, that many new likes, and people just viewing my social media page in general, I think seeing that the products that I'm making, it's clearly making a difference, especially with my numbers on my shop, whether or not they're biting at the items, they're at least viewing it, and it can be word of mouth. If they're not ready to buy right now, they could like later down the line.
Yep, getting in front of those eyeballs.
Yeah.
I agree. I think social media is the strategy, and I think it's going to be a huge impact for you moving forward. I would just encourage more reels, get more of that content going. That was good. Leading into my next point is a suggestion. I think another way to get meaningful buyers to your site is ask them, promote, just like how Amanda's doing with brand deals. You could reach out to, like Cullen Green. I was just talking to him today. Reach out to him and say, "Hey, Cullen, do you need any customized shirts or hats or rain gear for the guys coming up, or winter gear? I know is coming up." That's a good way to reach out and say, "Hey, listen, I'll cut you a really good discount. Maybe even give you some free stuff. Give it to the guys. Would be great if you could post it on your social media, etc." A collaboration of that sort can be beneficial for both sides, and then hopefully that leads into a customer as well. But I think that's a good place to, especially early on, to draw good, meaningful buyers into your site is just ask them.
I
Yeah.
like that a lot.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely thought about it, especially when Amanda was talking about her brand deals and this, that, and the other. I definitely thought about, well, I could reach out to people too, especially even, I think we had mentioned in one of the early episodes, even just like reaching out to a wedding planner
Yeah.
or like a wedding, like a venue that like, hey, like, would you want this to offer for people to
Yeah.
use
Have you reached
there?
out to yours? I think that's what we ended up talking
I
about
don't
was,
remember if that's exactly what it was, but I mean, I did let my venue keep some of the things. It wasn't like obviously the fully personalized to Seth and I, But there was some things that
Yeah, but did you leave anything branded with her, like business cards
no,
or
which
anything
I
like that?
definitely should, or at least reach back out and say,
Yeah.
You should reach out to Rika.
yeah,
I think also a place to create a lot of content and invest, so you're not feeling like you're creating items just to post something on the site. Creating a bunch of anything Cricut Co branded things can be your practice, one, to get better with the Cricut, to also provide just a place for content where you can just be making a bunch of new stuff. That can be things that you leave with wedding planners, that you leave with people with your phone number or your Instagram on it, just to promote yourself that way. Just the same thing, and even like the little uh, fridge magnets, that everybody loves, or a chip clip.
yeah,
Those things, just like a customized one of those.
Mail cutter.
Yeah, mail cutter.
yeah,
All those little things that you can be making now and investing in the product just because it's your brand, so you don't mind it just sitting in your extra bedroom,
yeah,
versus an item that you're making and storing, listing on the site, trying to sell.
yeah. I like
I
that.
love that a lot actually.
Yeah.
Good work, Kyle.
Also, I did
And
want to.
also, I thought of all of that because, which we can talk about this a little after the episode too, but I think Three Path Profits and Anything Cricket Co could have a good first partnership there, because we're
Collab.
gonna we're gonna need a lot of our stuff. So yeah, I had that written down.
Yeah. I did also want to shout out Amanda for telling me to put shorter clips together for my reels. That I think is probably the reason more people spent time watching it, because I made everything like 1 to 2 seconds and then also
Mhm.
sped it up. So it was like boom,
Mhm.
boom, 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 back to back.
Mhm.
Stimulating.
Good. I'm glad it helped.
That's all I got for you, Lex.
Okay. Then I think you're up, Kyle.
Good shit.
Good shit is right. Keep the ball rolling there. We'll get into portfolio update here. Net value of the portfolio is $1,011.
Whew.
$1,011. That is a 1.1% return. It is still positive. It would be negative 0.39% without dividends.
Wow.
So that's an interesting dynamic to take a look at there, where if I if these stocks weren't paying dividends, I would be down, and I'm up because of the dividends. So,
Good to know.
yep. And last week, the S&P, big week down. The S&P was down 1.89% in the last 7 days. My portfolio was down 0.38% in the last 7 days. Best performers to date, the TLT has moved into first. It is up almost 7%. Or excuse me, it's in second. Coca-Cola is in first at 10% gain. Worst performers being Prudential, that's down 10% after earnings, and Ford is down 16.4% after earnings. They got crushed after earnings.
Ford has had a
So,
huge swing since you
Yeah.
started this.
yeah, yep. It's a riskier stock. It only trades at $10 to $12 a share. So any a $1-2 price action swing
Oh, yeah.
is a huge percentage. So
Right.
Yeah.
if it went from $12 to $10. That's what happened. And that's a huge drop, but it's really only $2 a share. So
Right.
the percentage swings there are huge, and they have been lately, especially because of earnings. And I will point that out, as I've said over the past, these earnings reports, these earnings calls are huge momentum swings for the stock. You'll see 20% swings up and down after an earnings release like this all the time. Very common. But I do want to go now to a little share screen. I'm going to start doing this every week for those who are watching on Spotify and can see the video, or on YouTube and can see the video, you're going to be looking at my Excel document that is just a download of my current portfolio. So it
Which,
should be
as
pulling up
a
here.
individual who
You guys,
learns by seeing and like being more hands-on, I appreciate
Visual.
this.
Yeah.
yeah. So can you guys see this okay?
Yeah.
So on the left here, Coca-Cola, TLT, SPYD, Pfizer, Blackstone, VYM, Kraft Heinz, Bank of America, Prudential, and Ford. These are all the companies that I've bought, haven't bought or sold anything. These are the number of shares. This was the last price. This is the percentage change for the day. This is the cost basis that I purchased. So these are all the original investments, and you'll see they're at 101 or 90 or 100.99, just roundings. And you'll see the current market value. So you'll see like Coca-Cola, that's the biggest winner. You'll see the unrealized P&L, it's up 9.93%. So it's at $111 versus Ford, which is down 16%, is as $84.41. So you can see as time goes on, a portfolio like this, when you equal weight it in the beginning, where I bought in with the same amount for all of these stocks, just a couple of weeks, couple of months later, the weighting is starting to distribute. Whereas Coca-Cola goes up and Ford goes down, Coca-Cola becomes more weight of my total portfolio and Ford becomes less. And this is where I would talk about like trimming a position. So like if Coca-Cola really goes on a really big run and I think, okay, I'm up 40% on Coca-Cola, I want to trim a little bit, and Ford is still down 16%, and I think they're going to rebound, and I want to reallocate some of those funds to it because it's underrepresented in the portfolio because the share price has gone down, which, as I've said a bunch of times before, when the share price goes down, a lot of the times, if nothing fundamentally has changed, it's just a sale and you want to take advantage of it. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here, just as an example of talking about doing moving forward, when I'll be trimming some positions, adding to some positions, rebalancing the portfolio, making changes and doing things like that. But I wanted to show this. I'll pull this up every week and we'll keep coming back to it, delving into different columns and just more insights from this week to week. So any questions on this before I pull this down?
I don't think so.
No. Got a 50-50 split between the green and the red.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's interesting how that happens too.
Yeah.
I just think it's fascinating, like that, like you were saying, when one goes down, another one goes up, and they kind of teeter totter as the market goes.
Yep. So moving on to a dividend update. This past week, I got 35 cents in dividends. That was from the TLT, paid a cash dividend of 3.314856 per share. I got 35 cents from that. Year to date, bringing the year to date dividends to $9.32. So the total cash in the portfolio now is $9.44. Next dividends will be on September 3rd. That will be Pfizer and Ford. So as you can see, not many dividends coming up the rest of August. And the dividend reinvestment is still off. So the next time I get those dividends, it will just go into the cash. And that's it for dividends. Earnings update here. Prudential reported last week on the 1st of August. They reported revenue of $13.84 billion. They beat by $311 million, so pretty substantial beat there. $3.28 on EPS, earnings per share. That is a beat of 2 cents, so they beat on the top and bottom line. December 2024 revenue remains at $62.08 billion with an earnings per share of $13.32. December 2025 revenue went down a little bit to $57.75 billion. So you can see the contrast there. They're forecasting 62 billion in revenue for the current fiscal year and 58 billion in revenue for the next fiscal year. So they're forecasting decelerating revenue, but 2024 EPS is projected to be 13.32. 2025 EPS is expected to be 14.47. So just highlighting this dynamic of they're shrinking revenues, but they're increasing profits that they're distributing per share. So the only way that they're doing that is through cost cutting measures and becoming more efficient. So that you can look at this both ways. Obviously, you never want to see revenue go down, but EPS is trending up. Analysts are still positive about the EPS projections, even with the revenue decline. So overall, it's a pretty safe yield. Yields 4.76% currently, and it has growth potential as well. This is one of those stocks that, as the economy does well, it's going to do well. As lending activity does well, it's going to do well. As the international economy does well, it does well. It has an international business segment. So I like the exposure there, diversifying me away from the United States a little bit. Prudential gives me a little bit of that because they have clients and customers all over the world. So that's overall, it's a good report. Nothing really changes my outlook on them. I don't want to add or subtract from the position right now. So I'm just happy holding with that 4.76% yield. So that's it for Prudential. Any questions there?
You answered mine whenever I was going to ask if it was a bad thing that they had the lower revenue for the next fiscal year, but then you explained it
Yeah.
also.
Yeah. I mean, it's never a good thing to see revenue declining. It's just you don't want to see that sequentially year over year, year over year. One year because of economic conditions or whatever it may be is understandable and can be accepted, but obviously a business model that has declining revenues isn't going to last very long. So it is something to definitely keep an eye on. Anytime revenue goes down, you want to analyze it and say, hey, what's going on here? But yeah, so good to highlight that there. Moving on to a macro update, the Dow was down 1,000 points on Monday. It was such a crazy day when the market opened at 9:30. The Nasdaq was down like 3.6%. The Dow was down like 3%. The S&P was down like 4%. Everything was red. Everything was down big. It was right after the Fed held interest rates last week at their meeting, and then the job reports came out, and it was way worse than they were expecting. And the economy kind of freaked out, and everybody sold a little bit. So the economy came back. So it was interesting to see how that played out because of the rest of the week has started to recuperate some of those gains or those losses into gains. But it's interesting to see how we kind of parse our way through the end of the week here and into the weekend, because swallowing a big volatility experience like that always has ripple effects, and there's usually more volatility to come. So I'm still bullish, but I'm a little worried about the volatility because anytime there's a lot of volatility, there's up and down. So um, the VIX is something that's always tracked. It measures the volatility in the market, and it's skyrocketed on Monday, and it's coming down, but it's still at an elevated rate, which just means there's going to be a lot of volatility in the market. So another macro update is the Olympics. The US is doing good. We have the most golds and the most overall medals, which is cool, and it is good for certain companies. You got to think when the Olympics goes on, even companies like Coca-Cola, think about how many Coca-Cola advertisements are on those events. Think about how many vending machines are at those facilities. Think about all the concession stands that are selling Coca-Cola, etc. But it's also good for companies like Snapchat and DraftKings. All of those sporting events, all those gambling opportunities. Who benefits from that? DraftKings. Sporting events also helps things like Snapchat, just general world events for people to communicate about, use their platform to share experiences, etc., is always a benefit as well. So the Olympics is always just something to keep a tab on because it's only happens every 4 years. So it's interesting to think about what kind of impacts that has on companies in your portfolio. So that's all I had for a macro update. But review and conclude, no dividends or earnings left for August. So it's going to be a pretty quiet rest of the month. Besides, I do have a new update. I am looking to add to the portfolio on a consistent basis, and I'm going to do it in a consistent increment. I'm thinking $100 a week so that it totals about $400 a month, so that we start showing the compound interest of continual investments. And I might even parse it down a little bit to $25 or $50 a week, or or maybe $100 a month or something like that. I haven't finalized all the details yet, but I'm going to start doing that, and it might happen as early as next week. So
Mhm.
once I start doing that, I'll have whatever amount I'll be putting in each week. I'll have listed what companies I'll be going into, and how that's going to impact the overall portfolio moving forward. So,
When you start to do that, I love that you're going to do that, first of all. But when you start to do that, can you make sure you include in your stats how much you've put in compared to what your
yep,
value is
Original
sitting
was.
at? Because like right
for
now,
sure.
it's easy for us to see it's 1,011, and we know you put $1,000 in.
Yeah.
I know. And that's why, like, I haven't wanted to really do that. I kind of wanted to always keep it the 1,000 so that I could show what you could do with just $1,000. But
Right.
I think it's also really powerful showing the consistency of compounding and how powerful it is when, even if you're only putting $100 a month, showing what that can do.
Which honestly, I was gonna recommend like only putting $100 a month to start, just so people can see what a smaller amount can do for individuals that
Yeah.
can't put $400 a month in.
Is it better to do 25 a week or 100 a month?
It depends. I'm sure there are studies that show both ways. I would lean towards the 25 per week because you're compounding more often. So if you're saying you're going to do 100 a month, but you invested in the increments of 25 per week, from that 25 during the first week is now already invested. Maybe you
Mhm.
got a dividend from it, maybe you got
Right.
some price appreciation, etc. So it's already compounding at an earlier and more often rate, the better. So anytime you're looking at an investment, the more times it compounds, the better. So just like back to the dividend question of, do companies pay quarterly versus monthly? It's better when they pay monthly because you're able to get more distributions, reinvest more times, and continue that compounding process versus less. So it's just like the penny a day for a month.
Mhm.
It's a really powerful exercise to show that, because most people don't think it's going to be a lot of money, but the more times you compound, that's where the magic really starts to happen. So
Yeah.
the more times you compound, the better. The more often you can put in the investments, the better. If it's all going to be the same amount,
I would think too, it's better to do the 25 just in the sense of how much the stock market changes. It goes up, it goes down. So just spreading out when you invest is better in that regard, because one week it might be down really bad and you're like, well, wait, I want to wait until next week and do 50 the next week. You just leave yourself more options when you break it down into those different weekly increments.
for sure. That's called um, dollar cost averaging. So people who do that, when they just consistently invest in like the S&P every week or whatever, they're buying it on the same, like they just set it where they just buy every Wednesday, every week. They buy the same amount, whatever. And it's automatic. Whether the market's up or down that day, they're buying. and it's just set on a routine, on a schedule. They don't even care or know or look. It's just
Mm-hmm.
they put that money in and it buys the S&P $100 worth or whatever it is at that day every time. So when the market's up, that's good. Maybe it's going to keep going up. So you buy it there and it keeps going up. That's good. When the market's down, you bought it at a cheaper price. So you get to buy more of it at a lower price.
Right.
And overall, you're still riding the upward momentum of the stock and the stock market as a whole. But it takes out all those little up and down swings from impacting your decision making because you're just buying all of them when you're buying that often and that consistently.
I have a question. This is kind of going back to when you're talking about the Olympics. Have you ever looked like, obviously, I know people have always said like when a location has the Olympics, like they always get like a
A
good,
huge economic boost.
yes. Like I was going to say, have you genuinely looked at like what the numbers are for that? Because like I am like curious like how it affects that location's economic value and this, that, and the other, I guess, with it.
I don't have any stats to quote off, but
Yeah.
I can look into that and get an update for next week.
Yeah, especially just because I mean it only ever happens every 4 years, so I feel like it has to be larger than what it would be if
I'll
it
look
were every
that
year.
up. I'll look that up and compare it with the Super Bowl stats because the Super Bowl
Ooh.
has a
Yeah.
similar phenomenon where when
Yeah.
the Super Bowl comes to that town, it's a big event and it's really
Yeah.
Yeah.
big for people.
I
So
really like that.
I'll look into that.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Do you guys know how much you get paid if you win a Kyle? Don't Google it because this is a question I want you to just give me your guess. Do you know how much money you make if you win a gold medal in the United States? For the United States, I guess I should say.
$43,000.
Lex?
If you
I
win
know
it
I'm
for
right.
the US,
Like
It might
if
not be
you win
exactly
a gold medal
43.
as
It's 39. It's round there. It's right at 40 grand. I saw
I'm
it.
gonna say 50.
yeah, Kyle, I feel like it was more like 70. There was a chart on the news the other day.
No.
But I regardless whether it's 40 or 70, I was
Okay.
surprised. I felt like it should have been more than that. Um and there was one country, I forget what it was now, that doesn't pay anything. They get literally nothing for winning gold for their country.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess like also too a question to kind of tie off of that whole like having the location like wherever the location the Olympics actually is, what is the economic value or how is the economy affected by how many gold medals they win,
Mm-hmm.
by how many gold medals that location wins. Because I feel like obviously like if one country's dominating, that's going to make a bigger impact than if I would say they're all spread out. But again, I don't know. So,
Yeah.
something to food for thought.
All right, here you go. Australia 13,000, Germany 22,000. These are all for gold medals. Germany 22,000, Poland 25,000, Japan 32,000, United States 38,000. So I was very close. South Korea 45, France 87, Spain 102, Malaysia 216, Republic of Kazakhstan 250, Israel 271, Indonesia 300, Singapore 745, and China the highest with 768 grand for a gold medal.
Oh my God.
How many countries compete in the Olympics?
Which it's not that much because I saw something about an article that was just talking about the same thing of how these Olympic athletes train their whole lives and they're
Yeah.
at the highest pinnacle of their sport and profession, but a lot of them are dead broke and have no money and work like two jobs and still try to train.
Yeah.
And it was comparing that to the NBA athletes who are playing in the basketball Olympics, and the wealthiest athletes there. I mean, some of them anyway. I mean, a lot of the soccer players are up there as well, but
Or even just compare
LeBron,
it to
Curry,
what football players get when they win the Super Bowl. They get millions extra
yeah,
on top of
yeah,
their already millions. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we'll have to touch base on that whenever you find all of our answers.
Wait,
I will.
did
Yeah,
you answer mine? How many countries compete in the Olympics?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
How many countries compete in the Olympics?
Yeah, like you rattled off like 10, 12 countries what their prizes are, but like how many
I mean,
countries?
I think there's like 293 countries, and I would assume all of them, right?
I mean, all of them could, but
The
do all of them?
2024 Summer Olympics in Paris will feature 206 countries.
Hmm, interesting. All right, am I up?
You up?
Go for it.
Okay, starting off with my stats and highlights for the week. Cooking Depot, I posted my 7 videos, and on TikTok, I had 211,000 views, 7,803 likes, and 622 new followers. So I have 5,988 followers, and I did cross over the 6,000 today after I updated this.
Hell yeah.
I'm at like 6,032 or something now. So it's just like interesting to see. I love that we're doing this podcast in this way where I'm like breaking down the stats week by week, because it's really like up and down for the specific videos that I posted that week. Like last week, if you remember, my videos that I posted last week were all relatively lower in views. They were like an average 1,000 views, but like I'm still getting the overall views for the week as really good views. So it's just interesting to see how like the week's videos are, because the overall views are staying pretty consistent.
Yeah.
So my
I've noticed that dynamic
yeah.
because I see your posts come up, but I don't see all of them. So usually, like every like couple of days or so, I'll click on your profile and like scroll through all of them, and you probably see a bunch of my notifications
Mhm.
come through at once. But it's interesting when I scroll on the page, there are just like anomalies where it's like 100 views and then like 1,000 and then like
Mhm.
30 and then like 5,000 and then
Mhm.
like 50,000. And it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. So my videos from this past week overall did really well compared to my last week's. So just for some numbers, the one had around 8,000 views, the one had around 17,000 views, 6,000 views, 11,000 views, 2,000 views. Like consistently, they were all much higher than they were the past week. And then for Instagram, I had 8,631 accounts reached, 253 likes, 4 new followers. So now I'm at 119 followers on Instagram. And then YouTube, I had 7,115 views, 174 likes, and 9 new subscribers. So now I'm at 93 subscribers on YouTube. So overall, really pleased with those stats. I hope they continue in that direction, because it's definitely getting really close to where I want to be. It's really, really exciting.
I was gonna say it's gotta feel good.
Yeah.
I just wrote down, do you have a projection for 10K? You have to have a feeling and look at, okay, last week was what, plus 500 followers. The week
So
before was
yeah,
like plus
yeah.
600 at this rate.
So whenever I was talking about it last week, I was saying in 2 to 3 months, and the reason why I'm saying that is because if you want to just say easy numbers, on average 500 per week, to get 4,000 new followers, that would be 8 more weeks, which would be roughly 2 months.
And that's at no growth.
Yeah, that's not including like if there's some viral video that I get a lot of followers from. Like if I just stay consistent and get roughly 500 per week, like I've been doing the past month or so, it would be 2 months from now, which is still well before my 1 year.
Yeah.
So my 1 year is not until like the end of February.
But yeah.
Yeah. So for Mern stats, I didn't post a video again this week. I still,
Real quick,
yeah.
the YouTube versus the Insta on Cooking Depot. It's interesting to see how this dynamic, or even you can call it a competition between the two,
Mhm.
how that's gonna play out here. 8,600 accounts reached on Instagram, 7,100 views on YouTube. Kind of similar statistics to track. 174 likes on YouTube, 253 on Insta, and already 93 subscribers to the 119 followers. YouTube started significantly
Oh
later,
yeah.
much less emphasis, with much less care, and it's really successful already. I
Hmm.
think I think YouTube overtakes Instagram within the next week or two here in terms of all these three stats.
Very well could. I
Just thought that
I
was
do
interesting.
find that strangers are also more inclined to comment on YouTube versus Instagram. Like people comment on
For
my
sure.
on TikTok frequently, but I rarely get strangers to comment on my Instagrams, but I get people comment on my YouTubes all the time. So for Mern, like I said, I didn't post a video again this week. So I still though had 361 views on TikTok, 7 likes, 0 new followers. So I'm still sitting at 60. And then on Instagram, 9 accounts reached, 0 likes and 0 followers. So sitting at 23. I'm really not mad about it. Like I said last week, Mern's more like fun for me. It's not my path to profit. I just am including it in this just to see the stats. Um so yeah. So that's all for my stats. This week, I did film one of my Christmas recipes, and it was just interesting while I was filming. I like had in the back of my head, well, hopefully I should be at 10,000 by that point in time, by December. And so thinking like, okay, I need to have enough content so I can make this video 60 seconds because I've been so used to making them shorter that whenever I film these videos in advance for Christmas and Thanksgiving, I need to think about the fact that in order to make money, these videos got to be 60 seconds, you know? I do still need to make one more. I said I wanted to do 2 per week just to space it out evenly. And I had planned on doing like 4 different recipes on Sunday, 2 of which were going to be my Christmas recipes for the week. And then my air conditioning stopped working and it was after hours, so I couldn't call my AC guy, and I didn't want to have my oven on whenever my air conditioning wasn't working. So I got 2 of the 4 recipes done, which only one of the 2 was my Christmas one. So I do still need to fit in the second one before this week is over. Just a couple of random miscellaneous things. I talked about in the past the feature on TikTok where you can see how many people view your profile. And if you remember the one week, how I said the one notification was crazy, it was like 650 people viewed your profile or something like that. And I totally forgot. I took a screenshot. There was one like the day after we talked about that on that podcast that it said 1,250 people viewed your profile. It was crazy. And what made me think of it is I haven't seen that notification in a while. I don't know if TikTok got rid of that feature. And if you look for it, used to show up in the top right corner. I don't know if you have that feature, Lex, where you would see like the little people and it would show like profile views in the top right corner. It doesn't, it looks like it's like the marketplace logo now. I haven't played around with it
Hmm.
enough to know for sure, but I feel like TikTok may have gotten rid of that feature, which was one of my favorite features of TikTok. So if they did, I will be very bummed because I love seeing who's creeping on me. On YouTube, I know I texted you guys this earlier this week, but there was just a weird glitch or something where my one video said I had 2 views on the video, but I somehow had 14 likes. So I don't know how that would be possible. Math is not mathing there, but just thought I had to include that because of how strange that was. Over the last week, I did find myself using ChatGPT quite a lot for Cook and Depot stuff, for things like nutrition facts. I actually used it to calculate calories and protein in a recipe for me. So that has been very nice and useful to have to help me calculate things so I don't have to do all the math by myself. And I've talked in the past about how I've used it outside of that for like actually looking up recipes and stuff too. And then just the last random thing is that I've been back to work this last week. So I feel like I haven't been able to give like the time that I like to give to Cooking Depot. Like I'd rather just quit my job and focus all of my time on Cooking Depot. But until I start making money.
Gotta make that first dollar.
Yeah.
Back
But
to reality with us.
yeah, back to reality for sure. But honestly though, like before summer, I always thought like I have to have some kind of job to keep my routine because I definitely function better with a schedule, with a routine. But I made myself such a nice routine this summer that even without working, I still had a routine and it was so nice. And I would love to just do that full time. I would love it. I would be so happy just doing that full time.
Wait, really? You'd love to not work and have your own routine that you'd make every day?
I know that sounds
That's
stupid.
crazy. Oh my. Wait, hold on. Let me write that down.
That sounds stupid though, but like normally I like think that I want to work
No, I
because
get it. I get it. No, that's a real thing. It's a serious thing. When people work, they're not just doing it for the money. It's the
yeah,
passage of time. People like what they do. They like having feeling
yeah,
of meaning and purpose and the fulfillment and just filling your schedule with something.
yeah,
And it's something that not a lot of people can do. If you told them you have nothing, you have zero responsibilities for the next 2 weeks, they would look at you and be like, "Well, fuck, I give me some responsibilities. I don't want to do nothing."
Yeah.
yeah,
And they can't physically make a schedule for themselves.
yeah.
So it is good that you know that you can do that for yourself. Yeah. So I think it's good.
No, in all seriousness, though, like normally when I'm on summer break, if I don't have anything that I have to do, I would just let myself sleep in until whenever my body wakes me up. But I had a set time that I wanted to be up by. I would get up early in the morning. I would make myself breakfast. I would sit down on my computer, do Cooking Depot stuff for a little bit. Then I would go on my bike ride, do my workout, shower, make lunch. Like I had such a nice, it was still structured, but still had so many little pockets of
Yeah, it was
flexibility in it.
bullshit. Every morning at 11 a.m., you're texting me, get a workout in, and I'm sitting at my desk working. And I'm like, this is bullshit. You have all day to get workouts in, and I'm sitting here at my desk. Like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
She's got like we use Whoop. Shout out Whoop. I'd love to get Whoop sponsoring our pod at some
That
point. They would
that would be
be a
sweet.
sick first
Yeah.
sponsor. But we all do Whoop, and she's at like 13 strain at like 10:30 in the morning. I'm at like 3 strain drinking my coffee. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Get up and get moving, bitch.
I
Yeah,
do. 5
that's
a.m.
the message usually a lot of the times. But yeah, Lexi's been getting her Whoop going early.
Hell yeah.
5 a.m., baby.
I've been crushing you guys though.
I know.
Past few days I've been crushing you.
I mean, I didn't work out since
I've
Thursday.
been above 15 strain the past 3 or 4 days in a row.
I should have had higher strain than I did today with not working out, but I literally was working.
If you play basketball or golf, it's a cheat code. Every time I do either, I'm over 15 strain.
I had 13.4 today.
Yeah, like I feel like I know I always get a good workout in, but I think like with weightlifting, it's hard to like get a high strain.
Weightlifting, I've never gotten over a 10 weightlifting.
I've never gotten over a 6 weightlifting.
Me either.
Hmm.
Like I think
Well,
like
some of my weightliftings are like high intensity interval.
yeah, no, like
You're
I
getting your heart rate up with some of my weightlifting workouts.
yeah,
But a
no.
standard, like you're hitting your bench, you're hitting your dumbbells, you're hitting this, that. I never get over a 6, 7, 8.
And
Yeah.
like that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I do whenever I'm in the gym. Like I know I'm getting a good workout in and I feel great after, but I look at the strain and I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, a 45-minute hard weight workout where I really pushed it would get maybe 6, 7 strain, and then if I walked in my neighborhood for 45 minutes, I'd get I was gonna say 15 strain, but not that much.
No,
I'd
probably
probably
like
get
Probably like
9.
10. Yeah,
Yeah.
10
yeah.
for sure. Because
Yeah.
it's really hilly in my neighborhood. So
Yeah.
my neighborhood, I do get a lot of strain walking in it. It's hilly.
Damn Pittsburgh Hills. All right, let's get back on track here.
But shout out Woo.
Yeah, shout out Whoop for
Yeah.
sure. That was all for just my like general random stuff. Moving on to brand deal updates. So I'm finally gonna say that it's a Cutco knife that I was getting shipped to me. I got my Cutco knife, which I was so excited about. And I filmed a little bit with it
It's
enough.
actually so fucking cool.
It's so cool.
It looks
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah. And I filmed enough footage with it with the 2 recipes that I made on Sunday that I had enough content that I posted a little clip today, just like showing off the knife basically.
It
So,
was so ASMR.
so
Mhm.
yeah, the
The
stats for
little
that will
cap. Oh, it was so well done.
thanks. The
Yeah.
stats for that will be obviously in next week's stats, but that was posted today. And
I
then
bet you that one does well. I'm calling
what
it. I
what?
bet you that
Oh
that
yeah,
post does well.
hopefully. And I tagged them in it, so I'm
I want an update on that post specifically next week.
yeah, I tagged them in it, and I follow them on Instagram, and they like repost a lot of people's stuff. So I'm gonna keep an eye out and see if they like repost it on
I was
theirs.
gonna say, I really hope they at least like comment or something.
Yeah. Well, in the
Yeah.
little note that she wrote to me, like she hand wrote it, she said if you post about it on like social media, make sure to tag us and use the hashtag mycutgo, which I did. So
Well,
It'll get
that's
posted though.
yeah, that's good. They
Yeah.
still are writing handwritten stuff.
yeah. Yeah. And then one of the other brands I've been not saying what the names are, just like in case something transpired or whatever. But one of the other brands that I have reached out to, it was early on, it was one of the first few, is Good Culture, which is the cottage cheese that I use. They never messaged me back, but I actually posted a video, what was that, 2 days ago now? Maybe yesterday. That is a high protein cookie dough that I'm literally obsessed with. Like it stays in my fridge. Anytime I run out of it, I make a new batch. And I tagged them in it. So it was yesterday that I posted
I
it.
was gonna say, I think I know I watched it yesterday, but
Yeah.
I don't know when it was posted.
Yeah, it was just yesterday. So I'm curious to see if they end up reposting it too. And then through that, kind of like realize who I am outside of just me emailing them.
Yeah.
So we'll see if anything comes from that. I didn't make any new
When you
contacts this week.
email them, how do you include your stuff? Do you just like include your handles or
Yes, and I have my handles and my signature thing. Like I have like a picture with my logo, my name, my phone number, and then links with my like it says my handle name, but it's hyperlinked that you can click on it too. Yeah. I didn't make any new contacts this week. I was just super busy with back to work stuff. I just didn't have time to sit down and like think about what new brands, research new brands that I wanted to reach out to. But I plan to be back this upcoming week with at least one new, because I said that I wanted to do at least one contact per week. And then stuff that I want to accomplish outside of that this upcoming week, I want to do 2 more of the Christmas, Thanksgiving recipes just to stay consistent with that. I need to give Mern some love, I think. It's been 2 weeks with no videos, which I'm not mad about, but like it's not hard to go to the beach for a sunset and just get some footage for that kind of video. So I definitely want to give her some love. And then I want to kind of just like make more of an outline. I know I mentioned briefly the idea that I have for a cookbook to have eventually. And I want to at least start to think about what the different sections I want to have in the cookbook are, so that whenever I think of something that I would like to have in my cookbook, I can like put it in that section
I
and
know
just
one section.
continue to build on
I
that.
know one section that
What's
there's got
that? What's that?
high protein.
Oh yeah,
I
definitely.
was gonna say I got one. Cottage cheese.
Honestly, that could be a thing. Cottage cheese recipes.
Yes.
Yeah. 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 So I just want to kind of outline it so that when I make something, I'm like, oh, I want this in it, I can like put it in there. So I just have like a continual rough draft kind of thing going. And then the last thing that I want to do is I just need to finish your giveaway thing, Lex. I'm like so close to being done with it. I just have not worked on it anymore. I just need to finish the little bookmark part on it.
No,
So I'm
seriously,
sorry
no
I
rush.
haven't finished that yet.
No rush, but you're good.
And then my goals haven't changed a thing. Make the first dollar, 10,000 followers on TikTok by February 22nd, and first paid brand deal. You guys got anything for me before I shot myself out?
I do. I've just I asked most of my stuff. I just have a little thought that came to mind. I know you're pretty good about conserving the food and scheduling so that you don't waste anything and that you actually end up eating most of it. And like I'm coming down, so that I'll be able to help you. But what about an idea of like partnering with a like soup kitchen or like the Salvation Army or something and like donating your food? Like if
No, we talked about that the one episode, I think. Didn't we? Or maybe I talked about this with someone else, but someone and I were, oh, maybe it was Zach and Erica that I was talking about
I
it
was gonna
with.
say I don't think we did, but
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't
that's
think
a
it was
really
on.
cool idea because if you have something that you know you're gonna make like a really good lasagna or something,
Yeah.
and it'd be really easy for you to make like 5 batches of it, you could just make that and make a cool Mern video taking it down to the shelter or something.
Yeah. And the one idea that they had too is taking it to the fire station. And
Yeah.
there's a fire
Yeah.
station literally a half a mile from my house. So that would be very easy to do too.
Even some good like hoagies or something, just like make some subs, take them down
Yeah.
to the fire station.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
That would make if you stopped anywhere and gave me a sub just for free, that it doesn't take a lot to make a grown man's day. If you give him a free sub, his day is made. I promise you. We're simple creatures. Free good food. Oh, it hits.
Totally noted.
Lex, you got anything?
So I'm gonna be having a lot of good days come
Well,
November.
yeah, but you're gonna be here for like the tail end of it though, if you don't come until first week of November. Because think about it, between now and then, there's what, like 12 weeks, something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have 24 of the recipes done already. There's gonna be like 10 left.
Yeah, but you also, I mean, you're still gonna be making other videos for cooking in
Yes,
general, not
yes,
just.
yeah.
For sure.
It just won't be those theme ones.
Yeah. It'll be weird for me for that like month that I don't have to have any filming done because I'll have basically a whole month and then some of stuff pre-recorded, and
Yeah.
I've never been that far ahead on schedule. I've been 2.5 weeks out, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I do not have anything for you. I feel like I kind of was asking
Yeah.
along the way, but
Okay.
yeah, I mean,
Kyle, anything else? Okay.
yeah, kind of like you were saying to me though, I'm loving the momentum you're getting too. So keep it
Yeah.
up, girl.
Back at you, boo. All right, then just to shout myself out real quick on TikTok and Instagram, you can find my Cooking Depot page. It's cooking.depot, cooking without the G. And then on YouTube, it's just Cooking Depot. There's no dot. So still cooking without the G, but Cooking Depot. And then my more lifestyle, personal kind of vibe page is Mern, MERN __, which you can find me on TikTok or Instagram.
Alrighty, that does it for today's episode of the Three Path Profits podcast. We want to thank you guys for listening and encourage you to leave comments or questions to help us improve moving forward. We'll be posting episodes every Friday, so stay tuned and please make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any episodes or important updates. If you guys enjoyed the podcast, please tell a friend or family member you think would enjoy. Also, be sure to check out our social media pages, TikTok and Instagram at 3.path.profits. We appreciate your guys' support and we'll catch you next week.